Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Jennifer's Perspective. And this afternoon, my very special guest is Miss Claudia Thompson. Now, Claudia's journey has taken her from Hollywood to the moon, and having won an Emmy Award for her work as a hair designer and makeup artist. She experienced burnout in Hollywood's go 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 world and walked away at the top of her game, retreating to a small town on the ocean in Northern California. Now, she discovered that the true rhythms of our bodies and psyches respond to the ebb and flow of the rhythms of the moon, and her life turned around. Now, having already practiced astrology since the late 70s, 20 years ago, she coined the term lunar astrologer and created the first website on the moon other than NASA's. Now, winning a Webby Award in 2001, she was the creator and the host of Star Talk Radio in the Bay Area in California, and she was a consultant, teacher, speaker, author, and she was the go-to gal for the celestial events on CBS in Palm Springs. She was also the workshop facilitator from coast to coast, where she developed a practical system that guides entrepreneurs and those with a mission and a message in this time of awakening to utilize the unerring phases, cycles, and rhythms of creation and manifestation of all life on the earth to live an all around healthy and wealthy and abundant life aligned with their soul's purpose and the right timing for everything. Let's welcome Miss Claudia Thompson, everyone. Woo! I think I'm going to have to get like an applause thing. I'm going to get like an applause button where you push the button and it'd be like, ah. Anyway. Anyway, Claudia, welcome, 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 welcome. Listen, you have had such a lustrous career. Can you just like, before you get into what you're currently doing now, can you just give me a little backstory with how did you get started in that? Where were you at in your career in Hollywood as a hairstylist? Like did you like doing that? Why did you stop doing that?
I loved it while I was doing it. A lot of different things converged. I realized that I was working 18 hours a day. The movie industry behind
Really?
the movie industry behind the scenes is not glamorous. It's all on the
It's
screen
not.
if it's done right. And
Uh-huh.
I really enjoyed it, but something else was calling, and different things converged. My mother passed away, and that
Mm.
really opened the door to the moon and my exploration of it big time. And I just realized that I was burning out, and I looked at people who had been in the industry and were decades older than me. And I realized I wanted to have a great life, not just a great resume, and be a human being, not just a human doing. And so, yeah,
Ah.
so when I left Hollywood, actually, I was doing a project in Atlanta, and I studied priestess studies for 2 years in
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta, and moved into balancing my feminine, because it was a very go 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 push 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 competitive world in Hollywood, and
Mm-hmm.
very masculine, very patriarchal, and the images also were very controlled. And so there were just a lot of different things converging and calling me, and I try to really let myself be guided by spirit, and so it was pulling me towards a different destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly enough, sometimes our assignment, quote unquote, is given to us as early as our birth. And the doctor that birthed me, drum roll please, was named Dr. Moon.
Really?
I'm not kidding. Said sometime when one of my books gets published, I will put my birth certificate in there so people can see that that's real. The doctor that birthed me was named Dr. Moon.
Mm.
So I had quite a wonderful journey getting to this work, but ultimately it was sort of, got assigned, and it really has been my passion and my joy, my soul's
And
fulfillment.
you've been doing this now for what, 20 years?
Yeah, 22 years. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Now, for 20 years, where okay, in what area do you specialize in? Because astrology is such a broad
Yeah.
spectrum. So where have you narrowed your niche and basically like what area do you specialize in?
Well, the moon dances with every planet in the sky as it moves through its cycle. So
Mm-hmm.
I always say, as a layperson, you don't have to know the whole universe. You simply
Mm-hmm.
have to know how to reach for the moon, how to move to those rhythms.
Really?
Yeah. And in astrology, the thing that I loved after, because I've studied astrology for over 50 years now. So the thing
Mm-hmm.
that I recognized about the moon is that it cuts to the chase, so to speak. Your
Mm-hmm.
destiny points, lunar nodes, your pre-birth eclipses give huge insight into what you came to give and what you came to learn. And so when you start to look at the lunar positions, your phase at birth is your underlying motivation. It's like the road you drive on through life. So it talks about how to nurture yourself, how you perceive nurturing and security from the womb on. And so we look at shining like the sun with our conscious expression, but the
Mm-hmm.
moon tells us how to navigate our daily life, how to harness the power of emotion and feeling, because feelings create, to
Mm-hmm.
create what we want in our lives with the right timing, which is the 8 phases of transformation that the moon provides every cycle. So if you know how to
I'm
tap in,
taking notes. Now, you say there's 8 phases to the transformation?
yes, there are 4 that are when the moon is growing in light. Light equals
Mm-hmm.
energy. So when the moon is growing from new moon to full, it grows through new moon, crescent phase, first quarter, gibbous, and full, which we just had a full moon eclipse. Big
Mm-hmm.
show, big stuff. So as it grows, it's a time for outward active building activity. You set an intention at the new moon, and then you follow the action steps that are called for by each phase. And once you get to the full moon, the energy shifts. The light begins to diminish and its energy. So the energy turns more and more inward. It's like, it's as though you build a boat and you get everything you need together, and then at the full moon you push it out on the water and you see how it does. So for instance,
Mm-hmm.
in business, the full moon is a good time to launch. You
Mm-hmm.
can apply, I apply it to health, relationships, business, and beauty and rejuvenation. Those are the 4 categories that I generally deal with
Health,
people.
beauty, business, and rejuvenation.
Beauty and business and beauty and rejuvenation. And my goal is to help people have a sense of their soul's purpose and dance to the rhythms of their soul rather than being pushed and pulled by the pace of the culture, which is the fake calendar that was created 400 years ago by Pope Gregory. And we have to balance that. It is pervasive. It's the one that we all, it's 2021 by that calendar, and we all are under that vibration. But how do we
I know that the Farmer's Almanac is based on the moon cycle, the full moon, quarter moon, new moon, and I know that when it comes to the moon cycle, that the ocean's electronic uh I guess the energy, the ebb and flow of the ocean, believe it or not, the waters that is on this planet, the Farmer's Almanac, believe it or not, is based on the cycle of the moon. Now, can you just tell me, when it comes to health, beauty, and business, how does that? I know that it has to do with the earth, the water, but how does it have to do with our health, our beauty, our bodies, and with business?
the health? Great question. The in health wise, first of all, if you are aware of and responding to the rhythms that your body and your life are actually working with, aligned with, then you begin to ebb and flow. You begin to know when to have outward and when to move inward. So, and every cycle has an overarching theme. For instance, we are in the Scorpio moon cycle. And so that is about elimination and cleansing and forgiving and surrender and reclaiming energies that we need to move forward. We're getting ready for 2021, and we've got something huge happening on the solstice, which I'll talk about in a minute. But you can track your health throughout the cycle from head to toe with the overarching theme of cleansing. And we're all moving into the holidays. So this is a great cycle to do a cleanse, to eliminate our bad habits, get some good ones so that we don't end up entering the new year with a whole bunch of extra pounds or toxins. So, so when you look at health, Scorpio cycles ruled by Pluto. Pluto rules pandemics. And there's a whole thing going on with that right now, astrologically, as well as what we're experiencing on Earth. So when you move into knowing, for instance, it might be the last phase of the moon, and there's really no light coming, being bounced from the sun to the moon and to us. And so at that time, the energy's very low. So it's not a time to push forward. Well, health-wise, that can be very valuable, because in that last phase of the moon, everybody else is pushing. It's a little crazy, but it's time for me to regenerate. It's time for me to release, finally, whatever I become aware of during this cycle that's impeding my health. So then you add the full moon, and you've got full moon in Gemini, the breath. Am I breathing from my belly? Am I breathing all the way down? Because to live fully, you've got to breathe fully. So you can do cleansing breaths, which is a perfect way, to honor the cycle, and to put your hands on your belly when you breathe and make sure that it is moving. And then feel a breath all the way from the soles of your feet, all the way up, moving the belly. And when you get to the top of your head, on the exhalation, you drop. You let all the head chatter drop, 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 and you come into your heart. And when you're in your heart, you're present. So these are the ways that I expand on the themes that are presented. Of course, in astrology, you have the right timing for surgeries, for all sorts of things. And you can also, in a session, you find out what your strengths are, what to watch for. But if you understand what positions are pointed out to you natally, health-wise, and transit-wise, you can start to track your own health and really take responsibility for it, so that you don't have these tiny time bombs waiting because you're running to this fake time, rather than honoring what your body is calling for. I hope that answered it a little bit.
And well, you stopped at Gemini. You might as well do the rest. Gemini, I'm a Libra. Tell me about me.
Libra rules the things that have two in the body. So it's the kidneys and the bladder. So with Libra, it's all about balance. And Libra is an air sign. So Libra can be in its head a lot. And it's always seeking harmony and balance. And so the breath that I just showed you, where you come down into your heart, where you breathe in the belly area, because your kidneys are the back of that, right? That can be very helpful for Libra to just remember to come out of the head and have more of a full body experience. Libra is all about relationships. So having a good relationship with your body, positive one. Libra is ruled by Venus. So loving the self to good health. And also being active in good ways, having activity, because sometimes the mind can just take over. So but watching the kidneys and the bladder, so many clients I've had with Libra, the bladder infections are one of the ways that imbalances show up.
Believe it or not, I was just having a conversation with Candace, and I was just telling her that I have so many things in my brain that I need to get like I have so many things in my head that I need to get get it out of my head and put it onto the paper. So this is the first time that anyone has ever. I'm not an astrology type of person. I used to read my horoscope like on a daily basis, like live by it. And now I just I peruse through it. So when it comes to the moon and business, where does that factor into the cycle of business?
Okay. Well, one thing I just want to say before we leave this topic is you gave me your sun sign, where the sun was when you were born. People tend to
I
say,
did. How did I do that?
well, you were born during the time of Libra.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know where the moon was when you were born?
No.
All right. So, and that's something that I can run in a second, and we can look at that, and you'll see, what that's about.
Okay. I'm
Yeah,
open. I'm
because
open.
most people know sun sign astrology is easy because it's divided into 12 signs, going
Mm-hmm.
from around the 21st of one month to the 21st of the next.
Mm-hmm.
And so people say, I am a this. It's like, oh, you're so much more than that. Because when you say when you say, yeah, when you
Because the power of I am.
exactly. So when
I
you,
am is very powerful. I'm listening.
that's you're calling on all of the energy of the absolute when you say I am.
Mm-hmm.
So so define yourself, it's like, and I always say, well, where was the moon when you were born? So you were born under this sign. You were born when the sun was in. Where was the moon? Because the moon has to do with your subconscious, which is 95% of your of the way we roll, and you're 70% water. So we are lunar beings. And this is more information that, has been denigrated, loony, lunacy, all of this. It's like, but we are lunar beings and we are
Mm-hmm.
not tuned into that.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us have a relationship with the moon, full moon, beautiful. But and now I want to answer something else you mentioned about writing, about
Mm-hmm.
focusing to write. This full moon eclipse was in Gemini. Gemini rules all forms of communication, including writing. Now, the thing that's important about writing, especially writing your intentions and your affirmations, is writing is instant manifestation. You write it down, it's in solid form. There it is. So this is a great time. Lunar eclipses bring up the emotional blockages, the thought forms that get in your way. And you have an
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to release those. Now, what's getting in the way of your writing? Allow it to come up. Watch for the little thought patterns. Watch for the little saboteurs. Because in
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks on the 14th, we're going to have a solar eclipse in Sagittarius, the,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the truth seeker. So
Mm-hmm.
what we're doing is we're clearing the decks. The lunar eclipse brought up the emotions and the thought forms that don't create the world we want, that keep us
Mm-hmm.
from creating the world we want. So the decks are being cleared. So the solar eclipse, which is a brand new beginning,
Mm-hmm.
will be available to us. So we can step into that brand new beginning.
Mm-hmm. Now, when it comes to but how does it factor into business? That's the thing.
Okay.
How
All
do
right.
you factor that into business? I
All right.
don't. I'm trying to understand.
So with Gemini being all forms of communication, being a
Mm-hmm.
social sign, and having to do with networking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you might look at this full moon. I had a client who launched her Facebook presence, her business presence at the
How
full
did
moon. Full moons
really?
are times for launching. So
Okay.
you would use that would be a good time, and you further hone it by looking at where this full moon impacted your chart. In her
Mm-hmm.
case, it was in the house of creative self-expression.
Mm-hmm.
So she creatively expressed herself and launched her Facebook page under Gemini, which
Okay.
is the communicator. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how you would put it together for business. With the 8 phases, set an intention. It starts to sprout. And in the crescent phase, you mobilize your resources. Every phase is 3.5 days.
Is it really?
Then you come to the first quarter. A week has passed since the new moon. So you know that the light is growing, and you've got 1 week until the waning phase begins to boogie on your intention. The gibbous
Mm-hmm.
phase comes, the pressure cooker phase, where the tides in the ocean are building. The blood, the lymph, and the water in your body is more motive. And
Mm-hmm.
then the full moon, which is like a flower opening and showing you, how have I done?
Mm-hmm.
How are my relationships in business, in everything? And
Mm-hmm.
what, how have I done with those intentions?
Mm-hmm.
And then in the disseminating phase, it's like taking a bite out of a piece of fruit. And you look at what you learned and you share it with others. You might be having lunch with a friend and you go, oh, that's an insight. That's a revelation. Last quarter, and that's the Oprah phase, I call it, because Oprah Winfrey was born under the last quarter moon. Last quarter babies are always taking stock, and we take stock. And we see if our attitude, if our consciousness is aligned with where we began at the new moon. Or have we
Mm-hmm.
fallen out of alignment? Or is what we created not exactly on track for us? The balsamic
Mm-hmm.
phase, we glean the wisdom, we compost. And by the way, for whoever's listening, if you will email me at moonpoweredliving@gmail.com and put
Mm-hmm.
in the subject line moon phases, I will send you a template so you can track the moon through every phase. You will look up at the sky and you will know what time it is, because there's the keyword, the action, and what the moon looks like in each phase. And
Mm-hmm.
moonrise and moonset, it is unerring through every cycle. It does not change.
Okay. Okay. I'm a Libra. Now, how does my I guess you can call it the moon and me with business. How does that factor in with me?
All you have to do is move through the phases. You can get more specific with the born under the sun in Libra and the moon in whatever sign it was born, what you were born under.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, if you just follow the phases of the moon, you know that in this lifetime, your conscious expression has to do with relationship, with balance, with harmony, with beauty, with
Mm-hmm.
the desire for peace in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And relationship is the big one, partnership. So you know that in your business, team, creating community, having one-on-one relationships is very powerful for you, right? Because that's the Libra. But then
Mm-hmm.
you just start with the phases. It's like, okay, what intention do I want to set? You take the cycle for what it is. It's a Scorpio cycle. The last cycle, which happy birthday belatedly, was
Thank you.
yeah, it had to do with with your sun sign. So that starts a new year for you on a solar level. And you just start to work with the moon to look at the vision. Where do I want to be a year from now? What do I want to create? And then you start to tap into those 8 phases. And this is something that I help people do. I help
Ah.
entrepreneurs create their vision and nail it down and do the timing so that
Mm-hmm.
they're not biting off too much at one time. So they're plugging in the right timing. And it's so cool because the whole earth, all the seasons and the universe is supporting you when you tap into these rhythms. Because as I said previously, the moon is dancing with all of the planets. And these rhythms are unerring. So if you know how to tap into them and harness your feelings and use the power of intention, you're going to manifest.
Wow. And let's see. What do you currently offer? What type of programs do you currently offer with that you work with your clients? What is it, a 6-month program, a 1-year program, 12-month program? As their business coach, what type of programs do you offer?
Well, I offer a yearly, but I only take a few people into that. But as of the holidays, I'm going to be offering a 90-day program. So that people,
Okay.
yeah, and then people can add if they want to, but they can work with me for 90 days to get
Mm-hmm.
that vision, because 2021, the heavens are changing, and that means changes on earth. And my goal and my offer and my prayer is to put people in the driver's seat in 2021 so that they are aligned with their soul's purpose, and they are dancing to the rhythms of their soul in 2021 and empowered in, and put themselves in the driver's seat with these new energies, because we
Mm-hmm.
have something called a grand conjunction coming, which is two planets moving into Aquarius, shifting
Mm-hmm.
the balance from earth to air for the next 159 years,
Mm-hmm.
with 30 years of Aquarian age energy being seeded. And
Mm-hmm.
most of the people that I work with know they feel a purpose. They feel a deep, spiritual connection and soul connection to their purpose. And so, this is the time we were all born for. So Aquarius is the visionary of the zodiac. So what's your vision? How can we bring it down to earth? How can we use these rhythms to bring more joy, health, and wealth into your life, and use the beauty and the rejuvenation so you can step out and shine like the star you were born to be,
Mm-hmm.
radiating that light in this time of awakening that we need so much.
Oh my gosh, this is actually real. Listen, I've been speaking to so many different people that this is the first time I've heard something about it where what did they say that regarding the moon and the person's health, the person's beauty, and their business. I know that this is the first time I've actually heard that the moon around the business. I know they do it with farming and agriculture, and I guess what are you oceanographers? But I guess the moon really, but I guess because we are 98% water,
70%.
70% water within
Babies are
our
more.
body. Okay, so 70% water within the body. I guess the moon has gravity pull on our bodies and our beings as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, have you currently written any books at this time?
I have one that's in rewrite. That is what I call the Bible. It's how to use the whole thing, how to put it all together. And then I'm going to be writing smaller ones on each of the subjects that I mentioned. So that you can go and look at how to navigate health, how to navigate business, how to navigate, using the moon. Um, yeah, my website actually will be up, I think, within the next 2 weeks. It'll be called moonpoweredastrology.com, which is also the name of my Facebook page, moonpoweredastrology.com. And people can see videos there about different things. But I'm also beginning with Instagram and Facebook to do something called Tune Into the Moon. And that'll be under Moon Powered Astrology, so that you know at least twice a week what's happening. Beginning of the week on Moon Day, Monday, Moon Day, and on Friday, which will be your weekend update. What's going on with the weekend? So yeah, so watch for that. I'm offering a really great intro reading for the holidays. So if someone wants to get to know me a little bit and know a little bit about about their moon, how to use it, etc. I'm offering that reading for $99. Really, really reasonable. It's like a cosmic chat. And so they can, and like I said, I don't have, the website is in progress as far as scheduling, but if you email me at moonpoweredliving@gmail.com, you can book an appointment. And then
Hmm.
I'm offering a longer reading for the holidays, which is the Dance to the Rhythms of Your Soul in 2021. And that one,
Okay.
yeah, and that one is at $200. So these are 50% off.
What does the readings entail?
The first one tunes you into where the moon was when you were born, the phase at birth, what it means for you, your health, the implications with it, and the implications in those various areas.
Hmm.
The second one looks at your chart, your soul purpose, how to align with that, how to bring it into your vision, and
Hmm.
and looking at that's it's a longer reading, it's more comprehensive. And so that takes into account these amazing changes that are going to be happening in the heavens and what they mean for you personally. How can you tap into them? How can you harness them? You know, so.
Yeah, but okay. So here's my question: is that like is it like a mandate? Is it part of the like? Is it, I what I'm trying to say is how does it factor into? I guess I'm who knows. The kidneys, the balance, the health. Where does the beauty come in? Based around the moon. There's like I'm trying to make the connection, and I'm trying to understand how like.
So let's do this. And I mean, I don't know, I don't know. Had I known that we were doing this, I would have had you send me your birth information prior, because I don't know if you want that. I don't know if you want that to be out on the air. That's up to you. But if you would like me to run your chart, I will do that.
Why not?
Okay.
Listen, this is interesting. Right now, we need some entertainment for the pandemic, and we need something to.
Right on.
Listen, not only entertainment, but we need knowledge, we need information. But to some people, astrology is a serious thing. You understand? Astrology is a serious thing. They have certain colors that are like for power colors, certain colors for business. Now, these things are actually people take this very seriously. Like for certain colors, I think my color for business is blue, but this is my color. You see that?
And if you knew the color of the sun and the moon have different colors. So that's fun too, because you can then combine. You can start combining. So where were you? What state were you born in?
I was actually I'm an immigrant.
Okay. So where
in
were you born?
Kingston, Jamaica.
Oh, wonderful. All right, let me go.
Well, I'm a citizen now.
Yeah, but you were born in Jamaica. Those were your landing coordinates, so to speak. Okay, and you were born in Kingston? Okay, and let's see. All right, and the date of birth?
September 28th.
The year?
66.
Okay.
Don't ask for my social.
No. Okay. And the time?
A little bit before midnight, I think.
Okay.
I think. I'd have to ask my mom.
Okay, well, you can correct that with me later. The thing is, the moon changes signs every 2.5 days. It's the fastest moving orb. But generally, unless you're right on the cusp or in between one sign and the other, you get the sign of the moon. So let's pull this puppy up.
Whoop.
And this is your chart.
This is me.
That's you.
Uh-huh.
You were born with the sun in Libra, and you were born with the moon in the emotionally sensitive sign of Pisces.
Oh, is that why I'm so empathetic to everything?
Absolutely.
And everyone, like, and look, and believe it or not, I am a very empathetic person, and I think I can understand most people. Next.
You might say you have lousy boundaries. So keeping.
I used to have boundary
keeping your, it's like what's mine is mine. You need to breathe in that light and move it out into a bubble.
Let me tell you something.
And clear it, and you can breathe out white light and move it through your field and just clear it of other people's stuff, because you might be feeling great. You walk out of the house and you'll feel great, and then it's all of a sudden, why do I feel like this? Because you picked somebody's stuff up.
But that's the thing. I don't want somebody else's stuff. I only want my stuff. No,
that's what I'm saying. You don't. So you use your light.
I only want, believe it or not, I only want my stuff. I don't want. I don't want other people's things. You have people who covet other people and they covet their things, they covet their stuff, they covet their spouses, they covet their, you understand? I can't keep up with the Joneses.
No.
And I only want what God has predestined for
Yeah.
me.
Well, and this is
People want to give me other people's things.
that's the advantage of the Pisces. That's the advantage of the Pisces moon. Pisces is where we slip the surly bonds of earth and merge with the divine. This is where
Mhm.
the divine discontent can come from, because you feel other people, you also feel the desire for this connection very, very strongly, and you walk it in your life. It's extremely creative, poetic energy. Pisces rules the feet, it rules the lymph system, and it rules the pineal gland, which is the third
So
eye.
so basically what you're saying is I'm ruled by what I'm what the Libra and the Pisces because of the
Yes.
month I was born and uh the time
Place of your birth.
the time and place that I was
It's like
oh
landing coordinates. Like, okay, your little spaceship landed. You got the coordinates to set you up for, for your soul's greatest growth, and and then you move about on planet Earth. But it's like that imprint in your DNA that guides you, and I mean, it's all
I
love.
don't know. I think with me, I think that because I have was bullied for so many years, like literally bullied and abused and everything else, that I found my own voice. I've learned to say yes when I want to say yes, and I've learned to say no when I don't want to say no. I'm not a people pleaser. I try to be nice because I have respect for humanity and I have respect and honor for every individual, for every person. Why? Because God created them and they're created in his image. Now, I think when it comes to my boundaries, I'm not as approachable as most people think I am. I used to be. And then I'm a social person, but only when I want to be social. When I don't want to deal with people, I don't want to deal with nobody. And I think I have that right. But now that I'm in business, I have to change the way that I think. I have to change the way that I think. I have to change just because I can balance myself like that. When I'm open, I'm open. And when I'm in that social mood, I'm in that social mood. And when I'm doing my business and stuff like that, I can deal with that. But when it comes to like sometimes I just want to be by myself.
Yeah. Well, one of the qualities of Libra, you're really describing a lot about the Libra vibration, because oftentimes, as I said, Libra has a focus on relationships, but oftentimes that phrase, fools rush in where angels fear to tread. Libra will get involved in a relationship, not set up the boundaries of what they need for themselves. And then they will set boundaries really suddenly and really fiercely. So here's an
Hmm.
example. Somebody gets into a relationship and they have a farm, and they give their mate full reign of the farm. And one day they go to make an omelet and they realize that their mate has all the eggs, all the chickens. And so while the mate is out at work, they put a lock on the gate, they build a wall, and the person comes home and goes, "Well, I thought we were getting along so well." And it's like,
Oh,
yeah. So the boundaries
listen.
get established. Boom.
Let me tell you something. When I decided, yeah, yeah, I can see that. Like,
And
okay,
the Pisces, same thing with the
I'm
Pisces.
like, listen, I'm like, okay, I've had enough.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, okay,
And
whatever.
your moon has an urge to merge, not to just relate to somebody, but to literally find the divine in them and be able to merge with that. And so that lesson becomes, well, which you do, I keep my own counsel, I have my own relationship and download from spirit, and then I can honor you as a separate but equal and wonderful human being imbued with the
Hmm.
force of God as well.
Hmm.
I'm going to step
Hmm.
away for 1 second and get a charger, because this is
Okay.
going on here. Move this a little bit and plug myself in. All righty, good to go. Hello. There we are.
You look good. You have
So,
such a beautiful smile.
oh, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, I just during the whole COVID thing, I mean, I'm a hairdresser, so I always have color in my cabinet. But I've been a redhead my whole life, and when this grew out, I went, "Oh my gosh, interesting."
But it looks really good. It has
I'm having fun with it.
listen, it has listen, your gray is very, it's more like silver.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty much platinum.
Yeah. Platinum, that's it. Okay then. Now, when it
Like
comes to
moon.
beauty, explain to me the moon and beauty.
All right. So there are a lot of different aspects to it, but the moon, one of the things that the moon is about is it's where we meet the public. So we know that with a moon in Pisces, for you, for instance, knowing how to go from from just basic to glam can be a lot of fun. And Pisces rules glamour. It rules illusion. It has a lot to do with the movie industry. So it's that thing of playing with that, playing with the colors, playing with the different things that we can do, to come into some glam and create that illusion. And then how does that manifest? Which a lot of us are doing virtual stuff now, right? So how does that manifest when I show
Well,
up?
with the online things,
Yeah.
because right now we're doing everything online.
Right. If I am in public, if I'm showing up in public, what do I do? What am I aware of? What do I need to be aware of? And I teach something that's called 10 minutes to a great face. And we talk about that. We talk about hair. We talk about even more, because the 10 minutes to a great face takes a little while to teach. It doesn't take just 10 minutes, but once you've got it down, boom, you could, like I said, you could go from on the go to glam really quickly. And you can do your face in 10 minutes in the morning and look great. But the main thing about beauty to me is it's a radiance. We're all uniquely beautiful by divine design. So it's celebrating that. And there are a lot of tips and tricks that have to do with rejuvenation that ramp up your light. It's like right now you have a lot of light coming out of you. So to me, that's part of what I work with. Let's maximize that light so that you really shine as the beacon that you're here to be in your own life and and for others in this time. So so it's beauty from the inside out. The out is the finishing touch. It's the gilding the lily. It's the frosting on the cake. But it's that inner, really ramping up self-esteem, self-confidence, that of walking in beauty and really feeling yourself. Yeah.
Because I have this thing where I see beauty in everything, and I see beauty in everyone, and I see beauty, like I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can literally, I can actually say, Claudia, that I see it. I see beauty in everything, in everyone, from the animals to the plants to the people. And people look at me like, are you blind or something?
No, that's that beautiful Libra Pisces combination, that Venus. I was born with the moon in Taurus, so I know what you mean. I mean, I just have the whole earth. It's so beautiful to me. The diversity in people, it's so beautiful to me.
It
So
is. I think it is.
Yeah, it is.
I think it is.
And if somebody wants to do a VIP day, then they get the, or a half day, they get the whole Megillah. Then they plan their vision, and they move into looking great as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's just, to me, the whole thing is, how can we celebrate the light that we are in this time where we're moving out of the dark of 13,000 years. In 2012, we turned in what's called a yuga. We turned to move into the light, but we have to achieve liftoff. And that fuel is our light and our love and our connection to each other and to spirit in everything.
Wow.
So how can I facilitate this? And how can I help people who are experiencing burnout, who are coming into that place of trying to be everything and do everything and
You
live a life.
can't.
No, it's like
You can't.
you can't. If you live in the go go go, then the antidote is the ebb and flow.
You can't. I had to realize that, I don't know. I know my own boundaries, but if it's just me, I'm cool. But when you're dealing with people, you have to be tactful, but you have to be open. You have to be like non-judgmental and teachable, because I can learn something from every person that I come into contact with and every person that I speak to. And I have to sit down now and I have to say to myself, like, how what can I learn? I'm not into astrology, but somebody watching may be into astrology. And right now, if you open up your spirit, you can see that everything in the universe, from the planets if the moon affects the way that we plant crops, and if oceanographers are in, like, pay attention to the moon, why shouldn't we as human beings as well pay attention to the moon? That how many planets? Every planet, the moon has an effect on every single planet.
Well, every planet has an effect on the moon.
Wait a minute. It's every planet that has. Wait a minute. Every planet has an effect on the moon. The moon doesn't have an effect on the planet.
No,
How many?
it's
Why is that?
It's working with the oceans of our world. It's working with, with the cycles of growth on our planet. It's set up, and other planets like Jupiter
Have their own moon. Some
Yes.
planets have three
Yes.
moons, correct? Ah.
So the
Okay.
moon in that moon in that sky, it's our baby. And that's why I say, if you understand the cycles and the rhythms, you don't have to know the whole universe, because you're getting the energy from the planets transduced through the moon to you. So if you reach for the moon, you get it all. And you can make it simple. And that's one of my goals, not only in my sessions, but in my teaching and everything, is to make the complicated, the complex, simple and useful. I'm always asking, how can we use this practically? How can we tap into this energy and harness it? Because with being a micro ocean, you're going to be at the effect of the moon regardless. So wouldn't it be great if you could actually tap into that energy and be proactive rather than reactive?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, and let's see, how would they get in contact with you? You have moonpowerastrology.com. Is it, or
well, right now it's moonpoweredliving@gmail.com. And there's an ED on the end of the word power. So it's MOONPOWERED living@gmail.com. Or they can go on Facebook to Moon Powered Astrology.
Moon Powered Astrology.
And
That is
me. Yeah.
Are you on LinkedIn and Twitter as well?
No, I'm on LinkedIn, but I have not actively used it. I am learning social media bit by bit, and I've got someone who's going to work with it for me, because you can really that could be your whole life if you're not careful. So I just went on Instagram, so I'm going to learn more about that, and then the LinkedIn, it's all going to be coming very organically. So like I said, the website, the goal is for the website to be up at the new moon solar eclipse. And, and then I'll be launching some goodies on that, because I have a list to get back in touch with. And, I want people to have a place to land to get information and goodies. And so there's so many platforms. So I'm learning, but it's one thing at a time, because it's easy to get overwhelmed by all of it. So moon powered living at Gmail, and for the moon phases, or to to schedule a moon chat or a reading with me, or just if they have questions, if they want to know more. And Moon Powered Astrology on Facebook.
Okie dokie.
And
And I think we have like 3 minutes. Do you have any golden nuggets for us?
oh, well, as I said, we're coming into a year that opens the door to a new age. This is the shift in the ages. This is a new world era. And
Mm-hmm.
so, you know, be of good cheer. Be of really good cheer, because this conjunction I mentioned is happening on the solstice. The solstice is actually the true new year. It's the true beginning of the natural new year as the light is reborn. And so light is due to be reborn in all of us. And it is our time to shine on the planet. So, keeping your frequency high, remembering to breathe in light and love for yourself, and then let it radiate. And just staying on task as far as, as far as being aligned with your soul, and not allowing toxic frequencies to bring you down. Everything is frequency, vibration, and rhythm. So it's not idle every day to do what you can to bring your frequency up before you step out. So
Frequency, vibration, and
rhythm.
Rhythm and dance.
And I was going to ask you if you dance, because Pisces rules.
Yes, I do actually.
Dance. Yes. So I tell
Believe it or not, I think if I could, oh my gosh, so much potential, untapped talent.
Right. But this is the thing. Every day, dance, celebrate. There's a technique that I use for journaling morning and evening that's very fast, that I teach people, that manifests. And it has to do with feelization, with feeling what you want to create. That's the key. Facts don't create, feelings create. So allow yourself to celebrate, to ramp up the best feelings. And if you feel stuff in the wake of this eclipse, feel it, let it move on out, target it, but you have an opportunity now to really, to be your best self and rise. It's about creating and living in the world that you want to see, because we're that powerful. Not allowing ourselves to be programmed by the media or prevailing old thought forms, because the divine feminine is alive on the planet, and she is going to rise for the next 1,000 years. We are in we have entered the millennium of the two, and that's the feminine. So keep the faith.
It's written. If you read the book of Revelations, yeah, it is. And a lot of people say, well, oh my gosh, do I want to go there? But it is written in the book of Revelations when the feminine is going to rise, and now is the time, and it will reign for 1,000 years. Like everything has a season and a time, and it tells you that in the book of Ecclesiastes, but I read the end of the book, so I'm good.
So that is the moon. For everything, there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven. And the moon's phases, cycles, and rhythms guide you to that timing. And so celebrate your fabulosity.
Okay, darling.
Because you're beautiful.
I will do just that. So are you. Oh my gosh.
Thank you so much for having me, Jennifer. This has just been really.
Let me tell you something. Honor and respect, age and wisdom. Listen, Claudia, you're welcome back anytime. Okay, come back and say, "Hey, Jen, this is what's going on." Listen, what do you think about the pandemic? This is going to be what a year and a half.
Well,
how does what is it? Is it the moon and the pandemic?
As Muji said, only God could stop the world like this.
Girl,
so if you look at it that way, we have Saturn and Jupiter, two planets that are moving into Aquarius that I mentioned, but Pluto is going to remain in Capricorn. And this is the deconstruction of the old ways, the institutions from government to medicine, et cetera, that come out of our belief systems. So we're being set down to look at our beliefs to look at how much we truly need, to look at what we value. Do we value each other? Do we value the earth? Or are we living in, I've got mine, I'm fine? So this pandemic,
Listen,
astrologically, is probably, we're going to have effects from it and continuation, etc., probably throughout the year, off and on. But again, it's about not allowing fear. Fear creates an environment for viruses. So allowing fear to be programmed into you by the media. Be smart. Yes, you wear your mask. You're your brother's keeper. You do what you need to do, but you remain at that high frequency, and you breathe, because a body that's full of oxygen cannot get disease. Cancer cannot exist in an oxygen-free atmosphere. This pandemic attacks the lungs. So be sure you're doing something to breathe. Connect with nature. These are the things we're all being asked, like, okay, if you've ever wished that the world could stop for a day, well, now it's stopping for longer than that, so that you can take this breath out of time and recalibrate and leap, make a quantum leap into an awakened frequency. And that is, it's not easy, but it's very doable, and it fills you with joy, and joy is the clearest evidence of the presence of spirit. So if you stay on that track, when I go out, and I know you feel this with your Pisces moon, when I go out, sometimes I'm amazed at how, when I come home, just at the vibration that I feel from the collective, because somehow they think that life was certain on some level, and it never has been. Every day is a new beginning, and entrepreneurs realize that more than most. They live that.
Wow.
Yeah, because we don't have a job. So it's going to be with us, but I'm very blessed, because in my atmosphere I have not had anyone die, or I live away from. So I have great compassion for those who are experiencing. It's like a portal people are just going through, and it's part, to me, also of the recognition that it's one world, one love, one awareness. And it's like, what's it going to take for the human species to realize this, so they will have a planet to live on, so they will continue to rise to their potential?
Awesome.
What's it going to take? So it's like, you take a beat with this, and right now it's the pandemic. We're going to have a lot of changes that have been going on behind the scenes, I can tell you, from the internet to the currency. It's coming. So don't be distracted. Keep your eye on the things that are important. What's happening with money? What's happening with the system? As well as your health. That's why it's kind of like, you got to keep your eye on the prize. You got to have that vision and be aligned with your purpose, so that you get up in the morning excited about life and on track.
Listen, sometimes I have to sit down and I have to say to myself, like, oh my God, like, just thank you. Like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I was speaking to, was it a lady last night? And I realized that with this pandemic, the things that we take for granted, have we learned to appreciate them yet? Or have we learned, we have to learn something coming out of this pandemic?
Well, I was ahead of the curve, because I had a health crisis that
Like what?
Well, I had my life deconstructed from house to car. I was without a car for 16 months to everything, until I ended up, selling my home, moving to a different area, living in a small studio, and really getting clear on what I really needed to live. It was so much less than what I thought, and very freeing. And so by the time I had a health crisis where it affected my skin. And so my skin was shed from top to bottom 3 times. And it was like God just stopped me and said, you will sit down and raise your frequency.
I know that's right.
The way you're going to be healed, is through a raised frequency of self-love, self-kindness, and knowing what's truly important, what's truly valuable, so that as you move forward in your work, you are clear, and you are at you're at that level, rather than being at the level of the problem. You can be at the level of solution. So it's a time when I feel we're all with Uranus in Taurus, which at Taurus is what we need to be who we are. It's about
Mm-hmm.
values, valuing the self, knowing that if you are enough, you have enough.
Mm-hmm.
You know who you are.
Hello.
Yeah. So
Repeat that again so that they can hear that.
if we are enough, we have enough. Not if we have enough, we are enough. If we are enough, we have enough. And that's knowing who you are. So this is not idle work that we do every day to get ourselves in this zone. You know, I wake up meditating. I wake up in gratitude. I do my feelization and my breath work. Then I step out. Because then my light's ramped up. I've turned the switch on. And that switch, it's not just for the world, it's for me. So I can keep celebrating, right? So
Exactly.
I encourage everyone to do that, to not take anything, anybody, themselves for granted, but to really just enjoy their own unique divinity, their own beauty and their lives, because we've never known from day to day, but somehow we thought we did. And now we know all bets are off. Everything's a gift. Everything's a blessing.
Exactly. And I sit down here and I have to compartmentalize certain things. And I also have to understand, okay, I know what is important. I know what is precious to me. Everybody values things very differently. And I sit down and I say to myself, okay, then think for yourself, Jennifer, know what's important, but we cannot take each other and humanity for granted. We can't take the planet for granted. We can't take the people for granted. We can't even take the friggin' existence of the plants, which is the lungs of the planet, for granted. So this is a really good thing, but
that's why those of us who can have to.
Because
there are many people who, you know, for instance, the Amazon, the areas where the trees get cut down, it's economic. It's a level of living that we are not experiencing, that we have trouble understanding. But it just means I can't get involved in denigrating or being negative about that. I just need to really raise my frequency, send light, be light, not allow negativity, you know.
You can't.
No.
You can't. And the thing that we also have to remember is that we are our brothers and sisters keepers of humanity. Because if we don't come together and unite, I think that I don't know how. I think the pandemic's going to last a little longer.
Yeah. Well, you know, it is this is the big schism to me that we're seeing in the United States. We're seeing, and it's going to be interesting because as these planets move into Aquarius, this country was born under an Aquarius moon. So it's going to speak very much to this country in our process. But we are seeing the move from the me first, the schism between the me first, I've got mine, and the generosity that exists, you know, so, and the awareness of oneness. So, you know, this is, and it really is hinged on, is the authority in the world outside of us? Do we march to their drummer? Or is the authority inside of us and we take responsibility for that? We're accountable, you know.
Exactly.
So we're all, and it's, like I said, it's not necessarily an easy process. We all have our baggage, our demons that we're unpacking as fast as we can. And the universe, the way that the heavens are organized right now, they are pushing us to do it, helping us, so to speak. But, you know, it's just, it's such an amazing time to be alive. Oh my God.
I think so. Oh my God.
No, right?
I think so. I think that now we're making history.
Yeah.
We're experiencing history right now because this is one for the history books. I'm like, oh, okie dokie. Pandemic. I've heard the word when I was in school, didn't hear anything about it again for a while. And then, Polio. What was the last pandemic? Was it the polio epidemic or was it the AIDS
Well, the
epidemic?
polio
Was
was an
it? It was
epidemic.
the no.
Was
It was
a
the
pandemic.
AIDS
So the last
epidemic.
AIDS, I think I would put AIDS in there. A lot of
Yeah.
people are going back to 1920, the Spanish flu, which was worldwide. But
Ah.
actually, I think that they are passing by AIDS because AIDS definitely was a pandemic.
AIDS. It was.
Because
It
it
was.
affected, they like to think that it affected a particular group and a particular
No,
gender, but it didn't.
didn't.
It was,
It hit every continent. Every
yes.
continent. Every continent. And I sit down and I say to myself, that is why we really have to really like really pay attention to what's happening in the world. We can't just check out like
Well,
we can't.
you know, I mean, I have a couple of friends who are they walk in a preserve here that's in Morongo every day. They work with the ley lines of the earth
Mhm.
and keeping and
With
looking
the
at
ley
nature, what
lines.
nature is teaching them.
Uh-huh.
So they do kind of drop out. They're not, you
Mhm.
know, they you know, there's this phrase, the world is too much with us. And we have to be careful because the world right now, particularly as we have a shift of the ages, it wants to program us according to its designs. And
Mhm.
that's what we can't allow.
Mhm.
So we have to be very, very careful. I mean, I don't look at regular television. I don't look at regular channels. I watch the news very little.
It's
If at all.
depressing.
You know, I watch the news to, you know, like
To,
like I
to,
said,
to,
we're going to have big
look.
changes in the internet and in currency, and I find
Mhm.
those things are interesting. But I don't watch blow by blow politics
Mhm.
because you know, basically they don't have a whole lot to do with the divine feminine. You know, it's like that inroads will be made, and they are being made. But I know that God's got it handled. You know, it's all handled.
Well, I think that's my time for now. And it was nice speaking with you, Claudia.
It's wonderful.
Come back again. Come back
I
again. Come back anytime. Okay.
thank you.
And you're always welcome. Always welcome. And we'll chat again soon. I'll send you a copy of the link. Okay.
Yes, and you were born in the gibbous phase, and I'm going to text you a little bit about what that means.
Okay, then.
That's that road that you drive on through life, that gibbous phase.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay, then. We'll chat soon, Claudia. Thank
Oh,
you.
wonderful, wonderful holiday season, Jennifer, and everybody out there.
Namaste.
Namaste. Love you to the moon.